Okay, we've had some serious issues with the stream today. I do apologise for this. But we have managed to get round 3 on the stream by the looks of it. Hopefully it will stay with us. We were planning on recording all of the games and releasing those to YouTube, but it appears that the CPU just can't handle it. So we have cancelled the recording in favour of the live stream. There is a slight delay between audio and video of around about 10 seconds. So Ryan's turn, he's just sort of cautiously advancing. Everything's kind of behind clouds and outside the threat range. Which will force Elliot to commit models to all of the zones if he wants to have a chance of scoring turn 2 for certain. You might see him not contest the top zone, potentially. Although he could place 1 or 2 models to the left of the cloud wall to perhaps give a couple of problems to Ryan. And Ryan flicks the clock back over and it's Elliot's turn 2. So Elliot's just inquiring about particular threat ranges from Ryan's side. The Bane Cav threatened 12 base, 13 with Death Ride from Dara Wrath. It'll be interesting to see how much Elliot commits here. He could potentially play quite conservatively and allow Ryan to come to him. Or he could, as best as possible, jam Ryan, particularly on this bottom side of the table, and hope to score. But with Ghostly on the Bane Cav, that would be quite difficult to do. So I'm anticipating just a little bit of repositioning, a few shots here and there from Errants. I mean, one of the things that you definitely don't want to do when you're playing against Skarre1 is give her both an offensive and defensive feat. this is serious business now. He's on to the wine gums. That banana he had clearly wasn't enough. So it looks like Elliot is going to go for a really aggressive turn. He seems to be running a lot of models into Ryan. Important correction, they are not wine gums, they are midget gems. It might just be a case of Elliot is intending to feed this turn, so feed Ryan enough models just to kind of keep him back and keep him busy, but also keep the bulk of his army outside of charge threat range. Vindictus' feat Divine Protection. While in Vindictus' control range, friendly faction warrior models cannot be targeted by charges, slams, enemy spells, or non-magical ranged attacks. Divine Protection lasts for 1 round. So in a predominantly melee army that Ryan is bringing, it does buy Elliot a degree of control over this turn. So it'll be interesting to see how Ryan counterplays this. I think Ryan, all things considered, will probably be happy to play with a mostly defensive feat, given that a lot of Elliot's models will struggle a little bit with damage on Skarre's feet. Bane Cav and the battle engine will be more or less safe. As you can see, Elliot's just making sure he keeps the bulk of his force within his control range. So as you might expect with 2 mostly defensive feats, a bit cagey these first couple of turns, get the feats out of the way, and then so you can get the attritional and scenario advantage after that.
She will go. She'll cast Warmachine. I thought the strategy she's got field martial arts. So, Warmachine makes
Confirmation that Elliot Guest did feat in his last turn, and there are just a couple of models that are outside the feat. Ones that he'd used to jam Ryan up. I quite like that play. I think it's a good idea to not give up board space where possible.
Just trying to be accurate with what I'm saying. It's difficult to tell where things are at 20.
Elliot has placed a Warjack Castigator, I believe, in the bottom zone, so he will score 1 at the end of Ryan's turn unless Ryan contests that zone. I think he's likely to contest that anyway with a Bane Rider. However, that Bane Rider is likely to be outside of Skar's counter feat if she does feat this turn. And also it does drag forward a couple of extra models. Probably the unit leader somewhere in and around the flag. Ghosty obviously comes into play, potentially running through the building, but with the amount of magic weapons Elliot has, that mitigates that somewhat.
Hits you. Right. You take a point to the gauge. And each cast takes a points to the 3 and a point to the 1.
Ryan's just in the tank, having a little think about what he's going to do. Or maybe he's just enjoying his midget gem so much that he's not quite realised that it's his turn yet. Some of the options Ryan does have is the two stalkers, which are placed behind the top and bottom clusters of clouds, respectively. He also has Tartarus just behind the bottom unit of Bane Cav. I think you're likely to see him running up onto the flag. That's if he can clear the one Errant that is, I believe, contesting. Might just be outside of contesting range. So the stalkers can just, if he does manage to free them up, advance, leap, do a little bit of killing. Seems to me that Ryan's really deliberating about just how far up the board he wants to push this turn.
about, you know, I don't like boosting the bottom two. I'm going to maximise my chances. And as well, again, so you get the fish, you know the drill. If they hit you, it's a point of damage to the 6, and a point of damage to the 2. This one, it's not fair, it's a damage. So a point to your 6, and then hardship backlash is point 2.
Shout out to anyone who's attending BonesCon next weekend. I'll be there. Models in one hand and beer in the other. Just trying to decide on what I bring. Legion, obviously, for me. I think this year I'm looking at bringing 4 lists to play with. So depending how I'm feeling on the day, I can have a few options with competitive play. And also enough variety to have a little mess around during the casual play. So Ryan advances the Stalker into melee. I believe he is in melee with 2 models. Two Errants dead. So Ryan will score 1 point in that zone if he can. Oh, he will score 1 point in that zone because the Banes managed to clear out the Errant that was contested. And also Ryan was able to run 1 Bane so that he is contesting Elliot's flag. Seems like he's having a little bit of trouble deciding what he's going to do in and around the Wraith engine. There are still a few models in there, just blocking various lanes. So Elliot's gambit of feeding Ryan, a few models, seems to have won him some time on clock.
Alright, so damage. Third shot. That does 3 to 1.
Big shout out to the Blighted Brain Trust as well. If you are a UK Legion player and you want to be part of our chat group, then feel free to send me a private message. I am Terry Rhys on Facebook. Rhys spelt the Welsh way, R-H-Y-S. It's just a little chat group where we talk about different lists, different matchups, that kind of thing, from as competitive a perspective as Legion can have on the meta at the moment.
Number 5 hits you. Doesn't do any damage. Right? So then he's Excellar's quite good. He's got 5. Now he's going to destroy Troy. Right. Then what's coming in there? So he's the one we have to pull in first. So you hit him, pull him in. So he and they can immediately attack against him. 23, so dice plus 3. So I'm going to hit him. As he wants to hit him, so dice plus 3 is 7 to the 2. And on the caster, 1 to the 2. Okay. Then I'm going to shoot down the other one. So he'll come in, but he's sitting in. I've got to shoot down the gun. Otherwise, my second initiative will put me into here. That's just going into each.
Okay, so Ryan has committed his Bane Riders more aggressively than I thought he might, actually, and run Tartarus onto the flag. So making a real aggressive play here. My assumption is that the one Bane Rider is contesting the zone in the bottom left. So expect to see Skarre moving up, feet in to keep as much of her army as possible in the +5 armor bubble.
Hits.
Okay, I just had to go and make a judge call, so I may have missed a couple of attacks here or there. Seems like the second Stalker now has advanced and leapt. Kill a couple of dudes. Wraith Engine moves up. Skarre moves up into the middle of the board. She has feated. And I'll just try and check on how many models Ryan has feated on. So Ryan has feated on Skarre herself, Dararath, the Inflictor, the Wraith Engine, and I think all of the Bane Riders. Certainly the Bane Riders that are up close and personal. 11 models in total. And at the end of Ryan's turn, he has scored 2 points. Score currently 2-0. I just got pulled away for another judge call. So it appears that Elliot has been doing a lot of work towards the bottom of the board, has cleared 1, possibly 2 Bane Riders, I believe. Looks like the Castigator went in, made that zone his own. And he is also contesting the flag. Skarre1 versus Vindictus. So 2 defensive feats. Essentially, Ryan didn't need his offensively anyway because he's on the Errants. So he's going to die to Banes anyway. Ryan went 2-0. Elliot's going to make it 2-1 by the looks of it. Probably score his own flag, so it's likely to be 2-2. Quite interesting. So Elliot's just rolling out some damage on his Errants, trying to plink as much as he can off on Skarre's feet turn. Spiky dice, you know, can do some damage to Bane Riders. Inflictor sitting on, what, armor 24? Probably going to be okay. Another Bane Rider does go down though, so Elliot's done a really good job of clearing the Banes. 2 left in each unit. I think there were 8 or 9 on the board at the start of the turn. I could be wrong. I think they're just trying to see if got line of sight. Players have decided that they do. So let's see what the Sanctifier can do. Yeah, good. Looks like Elliot's just seeing what line of sight he has to the Bane in the cloud, I believe.
So it's 10 to 3. I'm about to throw 58 dice up. I'm not looking happy. Admittedly, they're hitting on 6s and moving on 5s. Do I get to resolve one?
And Elliot is able to clear out the Stalker with Exemplars. And rolls out the attack on the Bane that is contesting Elliot's flag. I think that's enough damage. So looking like the score is going to be 2-2 at the end of this round. Ryan is no longer controlling the zone at the top of the board because he has no jacks or battle engines or anything in it. So really hotly contested and tightly poised, this one. So Elliot flicks the clock back over to Ryan. And score is 2-2. So it looks like Darath just did a Hellfire. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong model. So that must have been a melee attack from Bane Riders. Ah, Vengeance move from Bane Riders, that's what it was. Okay, focus allocated. So Ryan will score the flag at the bottom of the map to go 3-2. Central zone is a complete mess. Ryan obviously has to contest Elliot's zone at the bottom of the board. Seems like he can do that no problem with all the Bane Riders and the Battle Engine potentially. If he wants to just contest, he can just run one in, or potentially try and take out the Castigator, which really slows down Elliot's scoring. Ryan activates Scar, moves her to the little pocket behind the clouds. Dark Guidance, I assume. Impact attack. Kills an Errant. Rest of the charges go in. Impact attack on the Castigator. Looks like he's going to try and commit to this zone. Don't think the Castigator was previously damaged. So 3 Banes probably not going to kill it, but should set it up for a kill for next turn by the Battle Engine probably. Wow, Castigator goes down and reposition. He must have got some damage on it previously. So, Ryan making a real strong play for the bottom of the board here now. He will definitely score on his own flag if he runs up the Scarlock Thrall, which I don't believe is activated yet. So the attrition advantage really starting to swing in Ryan Evans' favour now. Elliot's not out of it though, he's got enough models to keep Ryan honest.
Boost damage. Oh, that does 14, so that's 5 to 4 and 1 to 2. Then he's got 2 hit ones, so you can fire both of them at that thing, even though I can't drag you in. So that hit was a point of damage or a hunter. And there's 3 points, and it drags you in the middle. And on the caster, it does 1 to 3. And the other hit gun, it won't be coming out. It does a point of damage to the 3 and a point of damage to the 5. Right, so then he's finished that meeting. So, this will be my so that's the same. Right, so anything to do, so let's see, the boost damage. So, power limit, it's still armor 20. Armor 19. Oh, right. You're not back right, so weapons. Then you boost damage. 46. Let's do one in front. I hit. Hot hits. Hits. Smash mine 9. What's his armor? 12. So that is. Okay. Caster is 19. Smash on 19. So 8 at 6.
In terms of clock, Ryan is just approaching 10 minutes, and Elliot is currently on 22 minutes. So, with still, a decent chunk of models on the board and no major swing in scenario just yet, it's looking like this could be a relatively tight finish. I think Ryan going to 3-2 at the end of this round, most likely. Puts him slightly ahead. Ryan's still got enough models across the board to contest all scenario elements. Elliot looking a little bit thin at the bottom of the board here, but he does have models that he can move over. Okay, back for making a judge call. For those that are watching the live stream, we will be playing a 4th round. Final will be the winner of this match versus the winner of the other semi-final, which is David versus Anthony. Cryx versus Signar.
That's the benefit of these big decks things. You just 1 or 2 points to win. It wasn't boosting down, because I wanted to put the
Okay, so Ryan passed the clock over with about 7 minutes left on his clock. He has moved to 4-2 because he was able to move his Stalker into Elliot's zone. 4-2 up gives him quite a significant advantage. And he's positioned the Stalker to try and mitigate as many as possible models coming into that zone. Looks like this game is starting to slip slightly away from Elliot's grasp. We'll see what he can pull out in this turn. He does at the moment have a clock advantage. He's on 21 minutes. So if he can play an efficient turn, contest and score, should be okay. Flag on his side is looking good. He just has to kill 1 Bane. He does obviously then have to attempt to contest the flag that the Skarlock Thrall is scoring, but I don't really see any way in which he can do that. I think what we're likely to see in future turns is Skarre is going to probably shift around to this left-hand side a little bit. And Ryan is going to continually score the bottom zone and the flag. Likely to be versus Elliot just scoring the top flag. So turn 4, 4-2 turns to 6-3, turns to 8-4, turns to 10-5. Unlikely to go that far. I don't think we'll see the full 7 turns. But clear to see that Elliot needs to produce a really good turn of attrition this round. But now that Skar's feet's out of the way, he's certainly got the punch to do it. I think we're likely to see a lot of those Bane Riders go down. The Inflictor got beat up a little bit by the Sanctifier last turn, so could see the Inflictor go down. Got a lot of Weapon Masters on the board. So we could see a really strong play for the central zone. Unlikely to score it this turn, of course, because the battle engine is contesting, but the more models he can remove this turn, the better.
It's not doing well today. I got 1 point. I got cut to death for the entire game. That's right. He just kept 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and like, what the fuck, 5 seconds on his clock just to kill me with the spray. So close. Still.
Plenty of time.
Is there a prize for loser? Have you got a nice losing prize?
Yes, it's ridiculed.
I get
By everybody.
I get that anyway.
So it doesn't look like Elliot has been able to do any significant damage in the middle of the table yet. Just activating the top unit of Errants. Or Exemplars, whatever they are. Men with funny hats.
Because if you think that it's not going to get big sprays, so I can afford this focus. I don't think we can say through it all, but it's the small details.
And one Bane is moved from the table, so that means Elliot will score 1. David Williams versus Anthony Shaw game has just finished with a victory for David, so he will advance to today's final, which will be on stream. And he will play the winner of this match. Off to make a judge call.
Cards is the easiest one to get a game with now. So
Okay, I've been away a little while. I had to make a judge call or two. Looks like things are kind of going as predicted. I'm surprised Elliot wasn't able to get more work done in the centre of the park. But he has managed to start collapsing the flank right at the top. Well, Ryan still has a couple of Banes. I think he's going to make it just a bit difficult there. Plus, Elliot doesn't really have anything that can go and score that top zone. It appears that Ryan was able to score another 2 points, and he's currently 5-3 up on his turn. I believe it's now turn 5, possibly turn 6. So with less than 1 minute on his clock, Ryan is able to score 3 points in his turn and contest the flag with a cheeky Bane Rider running through the central rock, which I don't think Elliot saw coming. Not sure if he could have made a free strike or not. I know that the two sword solo had been knocked down. Ryan wins 8-3 and advances to the final. Good game.
Steve charges and I've got like half this unit and half this unit.
Here you go.
Thank you very much, sir. Just stick around a little longer. We're going to interview one of the players.
How are the wins and losses going? Are you tracking?
I'm not tracking.
Oh, right. Will that come out later?
Yeah. Looks like they should like all the wins and stuff. The team result is
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Oh, so that was the deciding game. Nice.
round one.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh, that's the only thing which...
that's the only thing that contributes to a team event.
I thought it was the overall wins and losses.
And then it just reverts to a normal team.
Oh,
Sweat on that.
I've got with me Elliot Guest. How you doing, mate? How you feeling after that game?
I'm a bit sweaty. It was quite almost of a game.
Right, Ryan Evans is such a tough opponent, obviously, that goes without saying, but I felt like you had quite a good start to the game. I thought like your positioning was really good. You both kind of traded feats fairly effectively, both defensive feats, and I felt like you'd done quite well. And then you sort of did really well to kind of blob everything into the central zone, but that kind of left that bottom zone just a little bit, not unprotected because you had a jack in there and you had a unit in there, but it just kind of left it open to Ryan. He was able to crack open that bottom zone.
Yeah. A lot of the list depends on seeing living models, so things like thanks, Manoth. So like the Castigator receiving its defense and stuff. So losing everything to undead is quite interesting. His feat cancelled out almost all the strengths that I had. So like most of my weaponry is pound 9 weapon master, so that drops down to 7 with
Dararath, yeah.
Darath Wraith or whatever his name is, doing the -2 kind of thing. It's really brutal. On one turn where a Sanctifier just did no damage to anything. That was kind of my main piece to try and break into the Warjack with the...
Yeah, the Inflictor sitting on, what was it, armor 24? Yeah, horrible.
I initially saw his feet and didn't really think that it was a good pairing into mine, but actually when it was in play, I was like, oh, actually, I'll see where this is going.
Yeah. And because he didn't need to use his feet offensively, essentially, because all you've got is single wound dudes, he doesn't need the +5 strength. He was able to kind of position to a point where he was going to make it really difficult for you to score.
Yeah. I quite like playing into Cryx actually, because things like the Sanctifier cancels out the Incorporeal.
Yeah.
And it just makes it sweat a little bit because it cannot position anywhere that it wants to with its huge base.
Yeah, I think a lot of Menoth players were turning to the Sanctifier, especially to deal with Ghost Fleet, and now that Ghost Fleet is starting to recede a little bit, do you think that the Sanctifier might lose its place in some lists, or do you still feel it's really important for things like the Grimkin matchup and that kind of thing?
It's really important for Grimkin, obviously for the Gremlin Swarms, but it's really helpful in this list because it's self-fueling. So for every one of his that kills, for every model of mine that he kills, I'm gaining the souls back, which then turn back into focus later.
Yeah. So he kind of has his place in that list anyway.
Yeah, for me, he's got a real strong place in Exemplar Interdiction for that. Just for the soul collection. Like a free fueled heavy every turn. That's pretty good. Despite his low performance in this particular
I think you played really well.
Thank you.
There's no shame in losing to a player like Ryan. I think you kept it a relatively close game, kept him honest, and it was just, I think had you had a different scenario which was slightly more central, I think that might have favoured you a little bit more.
I think this scenario...
I think he's able to spread a little bit better than you are.
Yeah, mine relies on a 12-inch bubble centering on Vindictus, whereas his is... It can, as you say, it can just spread. I think with this scenario, if you can win really early, so you can gain something like one it's something like 5 points, 3 or 4 points in a turn on this scenario. And
Yeah.
I've done that with Vindictus before, where he just swarms and wins on like 43 or something.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't do that in this game, so then
It does tend to swing quite heavily in this scenario, in that it was like 2-2, and then all of a sudden it's like 8-3.
Yeah.
You know, you're in it, and you're in it, and you're in it, and then all of a sudden, bang, and he scores 3 in one turn and 2 in another. And... there we go, mate. Good game. Well done. Well played.
Thanks for running today.
Yeah, cheers, mate. No problem at all.
Can I have an easy one?
I do take bribes. Alright then guys, stream will be just going for a little break, and we will be back for round 4 shortly.